In a galaxy where even the fiercest aliens feared the apex predator, one tiny human girl did the unthinkable. Not only did she tame the beast, but she turned it into her trusty steed. You won't believe how this incredible tale unfolds. Stick around to witness the ultimate humans are awesome moment. In the heart of a rotting city, where the remnants of humanity cling to the shadows and despair fills the air, a little girl named Lily moves forward with spirit, her chestnut hair dancing in the wind and her wild chestnut hair dancing within. The wind, her spirit unbroken by the chaos around her. Danger lurks, and the fearsome Zetai roam free, their elongated forms blending seamlessly into the ruins they now claim. Today, Lily's heart beat a little faster as she searched for food among the collapsed buildings. She whispered to herself, barely audible over the distant roar. She crept into a narrow alley, her small body easily blending into the rubble, then stopped to catch her breath. As she rummaged through the rubble, the remains of a once vibrant market lay before her. Her hand brushed against something cold and metallic. It was a can that rusted but was still sealed. Yes, a bright smile broke out on her face, and just as she was about to open it, a soft rumble sounded in the alley, causing her heart to skip a beat and turn around. He leaned against the wall. Shadows danced around him as a large figure emerged from the depths of the alley. It was Thrak, the largest of the Zeta predators, his slender, scaly body gleaming menacingly in the dim light. Panic coursed through her veins, but instead of running away from an inexplicable urge, she pushed him forward. "Wait," she muttered, her voice trembling but firm to his surprise, stopping his glowing eyes from narrowing in curiosity. He growled, his voice deep and resonant, reverberating through the crumbling structures. "You dare to stand before me?" Lily's heart raced, but she didn't step back. Instead, she took a deep breath, summoning her courage. "I'm not afraid of you," she declared that she was surprising even herself. "I just want to understand the gestures tilted by Tichar's head, which inspires people's interest and understands that the child can only know my type. We are predators and you are prey." "Maybe that's not all there is to it," Lily replied, her voice growing steadier with each word. "What if you're more than just a monster? What if, in a moment of intent, the world around them vanishes?" The only sound is Lily's rhythmic heartbeat, seemingly hesitant about his massive body towering over her, but something in her gaze grabs her. "Baby, you are so brave in what you say. But others will not share your feelings and will not hesitate to enjoy you." I knew she was admitting it in her voice, almost a whisper, but I felt something. "I can sense that you are more than a mad beast." There was a connection between us. His nostrils flared as if breathing the essence of the connection into her words. He purred, and his interest piqued. "You claim to understand beings like me." Yes, Lily instinctively took a brave step closer. She couldn't explain it. "I want to know why you are here and why you invaded our world. You are brave for a human child, but bravery alone will not save you in this world." "I don't need protection," she said defiantly, lifting her chin bravely. "I want to study." I wanted to help, and a low laugh rang in Silik's ears, sending the trembling man flying to help. "You will help a creature designed for destruction." "Yes," she didn't move her eyes, "because I think there is more to your story, and maybe you can show it to me in this tense silence." Something has changed in the air. There was an unspoken bond between them, one that viewed her with a mixture of suspicion and intrigue. "He hadn't expected to meet a perfectly healthy human child, which made me see your determination," and Lily's heart raced as his challenge weighed on her. She took a deep breath and held out her small hand to him. She opened her hands and invited everyone to come and understand. Trax stopped, his gaze locked on her outstretched hand, the world around them fading into a distant memory, and in that moment an unexpected connection between predator and prey was born, setting the stage for the journey. None of them could have predicted when the dawn would break over the deserted city. The gentle lamp filtered the shadow of the boss to the remnants of civilization winding on the crushing skyscraper. The link they created in such a short time feels like a fragile line, but it is full of extraordinary energy. She took a deep breath, letting the fresh air fill her lungs and gathering her thoughts as she wanted to explore the depths of her newfound abilities. She whispered, her voice, the soft melody carried by the wind. Can you hear me? She concentrated again, and she did her best to express her thoughts. I want to know that you show me the world. Lily could gently feel his curiosity, a reflection of the uncertainty that filled the air slowly. He began to move his powerful limbs, propelling them forward as they galloped through the ruins. Lily's heart soared. The excitement of the journey ignited a fire in her. They walked through the ruins of a once bustling market, where faded signs hung limply and the echoes of laughter seemed to whisper from the past. But now the streets were silent, save for the rhythmic thud of teacher Backslash's massive feet as they approached a cluster of Zephyr watching from the shadows. A ripple of tension rippled through the air, and the other predators observed them with a mix of intrigue and hostility. Their eyes narrowed with suspicion. Stay close to Methra, Lily, she said softly, sensing. Not yet understanding his disquiet, they responded with a low growl, a sound that spoke to both his protective instincts and his own apprehension as they approached. The other Zetters moved their sleek, slender bodies in preparation for curling up, and Lily held her breath as she felt the weight of their eyes. Why was she with her with the smallest Zetheri sings sound and fervent magic slavery as a blade? I don't know, but it must be dangerous. Another replied in an angry tone. She shouldn't be here. Lily felt their animosity wash over her like a cold wave, but she refused to back down. She thought violently. We must show them that we mean no harm with this determination. She leaned forward and put her hands on his warm neck. I'm here with you, she whispered, holding herself still so we could change our minds. As if sensing her termination, his posture relaxed and he let out a low, calm rumble that surprised him. The other Zeds stopped their animosity and gave in to his curiosity as he watched one of them utter a curious yet cautious voice. Maybe she was different with her newfound courage. Lily decided to take a bold step. She raised her palms, opened them, and projected her thoughts onto the Zephyr gathered around them. I don't think it's bad. I want to know you and be friends with you. A tense silence enveloped the group, broken only by the cries of noble birds in the distance. For a moment, it felt as if the world held its breath, waiting for an answer. Then, to her amazement, he stepped forward and stood protectively in front of her, as if to reinforce her words. Looking at him, a Zephyr exclaimed everything stealthily into its voice. He believed her, and Lily's heartbeat quickened in an unexpected turn. Yes, she shouted in a hopeful voice. Together we can find a way to coexist. Please give us a chance. As she spoke, she felt the Zeit energy around her thicken with a strange mixture of fear and confusion. The atmosphere thickened, and for the first time she felt a glimmer of understanding in their eyes. Let's see what this girl can do. One of the major gods finally spoke in a low, rumbling voice. If she can tame Slack, she might be worth it, she exclaimed, feeling a surge of empowerment. Together we can show everyone that we're not enemies with that. They entered the abandoned landscape. Zephyr reluctantly followed their curiosity and reached the heart of Lily as they fell forward, ready to open a mystery hidden in the ruins of the world. Little did she know that the real journey had just begun and that the road ahead would be full of challenges she could never have imagined. Lily sat with her heart pounding as they approached the small survivor camp, the makeshift box made of tattered cloth and scrap metal swaying gently in the wind in stark contrast to the ominous alien landscape around them. As they neared the camp, the sun hung low in the sky, casting slender shadows that danced menacingly across the land. A group of alert figures appeared, their expressions changing from shock to outright fear at the sight of the girl riding the returning apex predator. This is Zephyr, shouting grizzlies with panic sounds on his face. He waved a rough weapon and a metal tube which looked more like a relic than a weapon. Others were also scared to find what they could use for defense. Lily's instinct was launched, and she could feel the tension in the air and the fears of the survivors waiting. She shouted in her voice. Small and steady, don't hurt him, don't hurt our enemy, Slark rumbled beneath her. A low growl that echoed through the camp, but she bent down, put a hand on his neck, and used her gentle presence to soothe him. It doesn't matter, they're scared. They didn't understand. The gray man widened his eyes and gripped the water pipe tighter. You're a crazy girl. The creature was a monster, and you had no idea what it was capable of, but I did know that Lily insisted that she lock onto him with her bright green eyes. I can talk to him. I could let him hear her heart hammering in her chest, the weight of the moment weighing on her. She was able to feel confusion, her massive frame tinking with uncertainty. She projected his thoughts onto him and encouraged him to remain calm. You can talk to it. One of the younger survivors, a boy no older than 12, whispered in disbelief. The others muttered among themselves, exchanging glances filled with skepticism and fear. Yes, Lily, her voice replied, standing firm. Slack is my friend, and I can show you, just give me a chance. She turned and ran her fingers over his rough scales again. Tucker, can you show them you're not a threat? Ziz bowed his huge head and seemed to think hard about his words. He lowered himself and let Lily slide off his back. She landed on the ground, her legs swaying a bit as she settled into place before the group of survivors could see that he wasn't going to hurt me. I promised the piggy. Jake took a cautious step forward. His eyes narrowed at you, either a very brave or a very stupid girl. This creature could tear you apart in an instant. Lily squared her shoulders and made her will. I know it seems impossible, but we have to work together. Zeta is not here to destroy us. Slack wants to help. She turned her gaze to Slack, who was watching intently with curiosity glinting in his golden eyes. Jack exchanged glances with the others, his expression a mixture of disbelief and hope. How do we know you're not lying? We've lost so much because I know what they want, Lily replied with a firm tone in her voice. They're not just mindless predators, they're here for a reason, and I can help us understand that. If you give us a chance, I promise I can prove it. As the survivor considered her words, the tension in the air shifted and Jack let out a heavy sigh. The weight they had lost was evident in his tired posture. Okay, but if you're wrong, we'll have to find out for ourselves. There's no chance. Lily nodded in relief. Thank you. Just trust me. Once they start lowering their weapons, Slark won't hurt you. Lily sensed a strange camaraderie between her and the survivors. They are united by fear, but perhaps they can become allies against a common threat. As they prepare to discover the truth behind Z's invasion, the silent guardian stands by her side. Jay ordered his voice, steadying himself, and the team began to assemble. If there was a chance to understand what was going on, we would get to the ruins of the ancient city. Lily crawled back to Slack, her pulse racing with excitement and fear. She could hardly believe that they had created an alliance, but deep in her heart, she thought it was just the beginning. When the sun was immersed under the horizon, the abandoned landscape was thrown into a dark red tone, and her new partner entered the center of the alien area, walking deeper. The connection between them was stronger, and he seemed to sense her thoughts. Intimate Lily Jack warned her and responded to her feelings with a protective growl. The gray-haired survivor looked at his surroundings with a low and hoarse voice. Ever since he met Tucker, he had been wary of this alien world. But now he realizes that this little girl has an unusual bond with this creature. He could see how it changed everything I wanted to do with Jack. She responded seriously and looked at Thaku. Let something happen to me. Predator snorted in agreement as its massive jaws snapped together with a soft thud. The rest of the survivors follow their faces, etched with a mixture of fear and curiosity, unsure of what to make of this alliance as they cautiously move through the rubble of a long-abandoned Zephyr base, the air humming with an unsettling energy. Eyes sparkling with anticipation as she discovered a series of strange luminescent symbols etched into the ground. Look at this, she cried, kneeling down and tracing her fingers along the glowing inscription. What do you think that means? Jack kneeled beside her, squinting at the symbols that might be some kind of language. These Zizas are more than just mindless beasts. They have a civilization and a culture, and he narrowed his eyes at the consequences. Maybe they're not just here to invade. What if they were trying to tell us some thoughts that sparked a glimmer of hope within her that was enough to inspire determination? Her hair stood up like a wild mane against the fading light. We have to find out what they want. This moment, a deep roar echoed in the air. Tjax tensed his muscles, surrounded Lily, and turned to see a group of hostile Zetai emerge from the shadows, their scales flashing in ominous light. In the dim light, they were smaller but no less terrifying, their gaze locking on Siluk with a mixture of challenge and hostility. Thrax held her order close to Lily, and when she felt the excitement that raised a pointed predator, it struck her heart. His ambitious imaging screamed at the aggression of the rusty shield pipeline. He had picked it up. "You don't want to mess with us." One of the contenders. There is also a thinner specimen with jagged spines on its back. As the two creatures faced each other, the air filled with raw energy, and the other survivors held their breath. "Wait," Lily called, taking a step forward. "Slack, I can talk to them." She reached out and tried to ease the tension and let them know we were friends. Z's paused, his eyes flashing in confusion as they sensed her presence, sensed her intentions, and relaxed slightly, though his body remained tense, ready to protect her at any moment. At the time of vitality, the Lily concentrated her thoughts and projected the image of unity and trust. "We will not fight for us here to understand." She felt her bond with them deepen the bridge that formed between their worlds. Rivals Zet hesitantly reduced their roar to a low rumble, then surprised Lily. Captain stepped back and surveyed the scene. "This is a fragile moment of peace." The understanding born of the incredible friendship made Jake grunt in surprise. She can really relate to them. As the tension in the air began to dissipate, Lily's heart was filled with hope. If we can find a way to understand them, we might discover the truth about why they are here with their rival Zid. Now retreating, this group of people has strengthened their resolve on the vast chamber filled with the remnants of a lost civilization, the walls glowing with ancient technology, and at the center stands a pedestal that seems charged with energy, a beacon of the past. Waiting to be unlocked. One of the survivors asked clearly in his voice as he reached out to touch the glowing sphere. "I don't know, Lily," she replied, her eyes wide in surprise, but as she got closer, a thought occurred to her that seemed important. There was a small whisper in the back of her mind, urging her to explore further. She turned to Tucker, who looked at her intently, feeling a surge of determination. They will discover the secrets of Zeta and possibly change their destiny forever. Lily sat cross-legged on the cold metal floor of the cell, her heart pounding in excitement and fear. The artifacts around her brimmed with otherworldly energy, their surfaces etched with intricate symbols that seemed to dance in the dim light. Although the chaotic world beyond this sanctuary felt like a treasure trove of untold stories waiting to be discovered, she looked back at Jack and the others with a mixture of awe and trepidation as she surveyed the ruins of Zed's civilization. "Look at this," Jack, holding a small crystal object. "It glows in different colors. I've never seen anything like it. Do you think it's a weapon?" Lil shook her head, her green eyes sparkling with curiosity. "I don't think they wanted to fight us. I feel like they were trying to protect something." She returned to a symbol carved on the wall and placed her fingers on a cool surface. "There must be a message here." The massive predator, with its sleek dark scales and golden eyes, watched her intently, as if urging her to delve into the mysteries around her. "Can you help me?" she whispered, barely breathing, the connection between them filled with energy. She felt his willingness to help, and suddenly a wave of understanding washed over her, and symbols began to align in her mind. "This is the story." She breathed in a voice full of awe. They were once Earth's guardians, protecting it from threats, but something changed. They become corrupt and misunderstood. Jack frowned, his face full of disbelief. "Are you sure, Lily, they've attacked us time and again? How can we trust anything?" They were done with Lily. When she looked up, her determination was unwavering. "I know it sounds crazy, but they didn't choose this path. Just as they get lost, we need to help them remember who they are. If we can restore their original mission, we might be able to stop the invasion." The group fell into silence. Jack finally heard the weight of her words, his voice low and full of doubt. "What are you suggesting we do so they don't listen to a little girl? No matter how special you think you are, maybe you aren't." Her answer sparked a spark in her chest, "But if we could find their leader and show them the truth, I could communicate with Slark." We might just wrap the fight around her eyes and gently turn to Thrak, who gives a small nod and confirms her thoughts. Tension in the room is obvious because the group exchanged huge glances with the lily. In the end, the woman named Mara broke out. If we want to do this, we need a plan. We can go into their territory. Unprepared, I agreed. Jack interjected that if we had a meeting in a neutral place, we could show the artifacts and your connection to THCK as proof, but we have to be careful. It remains to be seen how Zephyr executives will react when they discuss their strategies. Lily felt a sense of purpose around her. She is no longer just a girl lost in a chaotic world. She is a bridge between the two species, a chance for redemption, but neither species realizes that they have to buy into the idea. There was a strong will in her mind to do our thing by collecting whatever we could find here. She spoke with stability and determination. We must show them that we want peace. If we succeed, we can change everything with renewed vigor. A group of people mobilized, collected cultural relics, and prepared for a confrontation in the dark. Thak retained a vigilant, quiet guardian as they pressed the weight of the task in preparing to protect the lily at all costs, but the spirit of the lily shone in the dark, hoping in the dark. She can feel the trend, transfer, and depth. She knew their journey was just beginning. Lily stood on the edge of Zeth Castle's cliff, her heart beating fast and the weight of this moment pressing on her small shoulders. Relax. The apex predator standing beside her roared, its fierce eyes scanning the leaders of the Zay tribe in front of them. There was a tense air in the air, a palpable mix of fear and anticipation. She could feel the collective energy of her comrades behind Jack, determination etched on his weathered face, as they were joined by several others, each holding a makeshift weapon. Prepare for battle. Are you sure? Lily asked with concern in her eyes. These creatures are unlike anything else. We faced Lily and took a deep breath. Her wild chestnut hair framed her face and danced in the wind. I know what to do. Jack Z needs to hear the truth. They didn't realize what was happening until Jack responded to a deep, booming voice coming from the castle shadow. The Zetai leaders revealed their alien forms, their scales gleaming with majesty and menace. With their different hues and their eyes glittering in another world, they eyed Lily with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. Their predatory instincts fought against the extraordinary sight of a human child standing boldly before them, the lily of the earth. Don't you dare come near us, one of the leaders hissed, a mixture of threats and intrigue. What right do you have to speak for us? I guessed it, Lily replied, her voice calm even as the ground beneath her feet shook. I already know your true story. You were once the guardians of this world, but you were lost. The invasion is not your fault. This is a misunderstanding. Zethyr's leaders exchanged their expressions. An illegible Tichek stood beside Lily, his presence a silent affirmation of their bond as a bridge between species. She felt the heat from the connection. Before the leaders could respond, their bond transcended fear and hatred. There was a sudden surge of energy in the air that came from the artifacts they had previously discovered underground. Flickering LEDs and light enveloped Lily and Slack. The energy felt like a heartbeat in sync with her own lilies, Jack shouted, his voice barely audible over the roar of the energy. What happened? I don't know, she screamed, but she felt in a big heart. The light was reinforced, wrapped around him and tied together. In a way, she has never flared up images in front of her. Her voice caused people's voices, which was her blood approach to a siege. A siege. You are the last offspring of allies standing next to us. The star is your destiny. Let us meet again, and with a new clarity, Lily raised her hands, feeling the power flow through her. Everyone, listen to me, she cried, her voice amplified by the energy around her. We can stop this war. We are not enemies. We must be allies. Together, we can face the real threat that lurks beyond the stars. The Zephyr leaders hesitated, their fierce glares softening as they processed her words, emitted by the Thrak, a deep growl of agreement and protection. Tension in the air began to shift, as if the fabric of their reality was yielding to her, allowing her to join us. Lily pleaded, hope filling her heart. We can restore what was lost. Together, we can protect our two worlds, as her words echoed throughout the castle. Energy began to weave between Zakai and the humans, creating a glorious tapestry of light that united them. The leader stepped forward, his expression changing from hostility to understanding. Perhaps one of the leaders muttered himself in a new tone. Maybe the child says the truth. We have lost our way. The seemingly inevitable rumble of battle fades into the background, replaced by their gradual realization that they can create a new destiny that can save their world from impending doom. A cosmic threat awaits them, and they will unite to face it. Purpose is to be bound by the reborn light of the old alliance.